MAGA Republicans know their agenda is so terrible that they made the only smart decision we've seen in this Congress, or maybe it was stupid, most of the things that they do are, but they decided to cancel all their town halls. They were afraid of the boos. They couldn't answer the questions. They couldn't take the feedback, and so they just canceled them altogether. But one Republican, Chuck Edwards, is either too stupid to understand he's going to humiliate himself, or is maybe a little brave. I don't want to give him any credit, and you're going to see why. Because he held a town hall today in which he was just booed constantly for every defense of Donald Trump and every defense of Doge and every defense of the horrible House budget. And it got to a point where he just couldn't take it and had a veteran forcibly removed for calling him out. About 4 or 5 cops forcibly removed a veteran just for speaking out and using his voice. It was disgraceful. It was a terrible town hall. At least we got to see him booed, and we are going to check it all out. Before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now let's get into this first clip of him getting yelled at.
Be reinstated for at least 45 days, and then there would be another. And then there would be another process to evaluate where we're at there. Yeah.
One more?
Just hold. I feel like this is not productive with everybody yelling at me. I mean, if you want to hear, yeah. The questions are coming out of the box one at a time. I'm answering those for you. You're not going to like a lot of them. And you certainly will have the right in the next election to cast your vote based off of what you hear coming from me now. All right.
It's not productive with people yelling at you. Really, it is not productive. Do you know what else isn't productive? Letting Elon Musk destroy the government, cutting $800 billion out of Medicaid, getting rid of Social Security, letting a felon in the Oval Office. None of those things are productive, Chuck. So maybe we reevaluate a little bit. I think people are more than welcome to voice how they feel, even though that's not allowed anymore in the Trump administration. They'll arrest and deport you for using your voice. And it's very clear that no one in that crowd was going to stop, because the booing continued when Chuck Edwards brought up what he was so happy about that Republicans did recently.
The time is now to fix how Washington works. To that end, I was proud to vote recently for the House budget resolution, which provides the framework. Yep.
Good. I am glad to see his constituents, Republican, Independent, and Democrat alike, booing him for talking about that horrific agenda that was just passed. And we're also seeing Republicans now trying to give Donald Trump unilateral control over the budget. These people who claim to love the Constitution clearly don't feel that way anymore if we're giving Donald Trump the power of the purse. They don't want to give the president the power of the purse. They want to give Donald Trump the power of the purse. They want to give Donald Trump all the power that they possibly can. We've talked about that. This is what tariffs are about mostly. Sure, it's for him to act like he's tough. Sure, it's because he's mad at other countries. But also, if he can just unilaterally levy tariffs, he is putting more power in his hands. And no one wants to see that happen. It's the reason why, after Chuck Edwards said he was so proud of Donald Trump, he got this reaction.
Another reason I said that I wanted to have a town hall, in spite of some of my colleagues in D.C. going, Chuck, you're an idiot, is we've got a lot to be proud of in this country. I happen to agree with a lot of the things that's going on in Washington, D.C. right now. I know many of you are not. Yeah.
What could you possibly be proud of the criminal in the Oval Office, well, both of them, actually, well, all of them. There's lots of criminals in the Oval Office. When you say the criminal in the Oval Office, you could be talking about lots of people within the Trump administration and certainly both of the co-presidents. What are you proud of? Veterans getting laid off en masse? That's what you're proud of? Well, clearly, because Chuck Edwards didn't want to hear from any veterans, and that's how we got this disgraceful clip.
Yep. Yep. Thank you for that feedback. To be clear, Sheriff,
the man just wanted to use his voice, as is his right. But we don't care about that anymore. We don't care about people's rights. We don't care about free speech. It's sad. And disagree with all the speech that you want. Feel negatively about the things that people want to say when they protest. We have to protect the speech we don't like. That's what protecting free speech is about. You don't protect free speech by protecting speech you like. That's really easy. But these guys shipping out protesters, blocking questions, running away, shows how weak they are and how little their words mean. And what a shock that is. But they're revealing their true selves. And it's obvious right here.
Even before President Trump was elected, there were people working inside these agencies that had access, that were required access to the information. You should also know that those employees and folks that serve with DOJ have gone through the same exact security screens as everyone else. Yeah. Somebody's going to be in charge of looking at those. His name just happens to be Elon Musk right now. So, are we through taking questions?
We're through with these questions.
It was about a split second that it took for Chuck Edwards to realize he made a massive mistake. And again, I don't know if it's because he's not that smart, or if it was a brave thing to do, to go before his constituents who clearly hate him. But I'm glad he did, because I'm glad for them that they got to tell him how they feel, as they should, as should be their right. If you are unwilling to do town halls, you shouldn't be allowed in Congress. If you won't go talk to your constituents, you shouldn't be able to serve them. That's not service. And that, I know he showed up, but that's not service. Removing people, it's gross. And that is why we have Democrats going to red districts. One of them, someone we love on this show, that's Governor Tim Walz, and I want to hear about his tour right here.
And Democrats who seem excessively risk averse. Do you think it's a fair characterization? Am I onto something here?
No, I think you are. And look, I'm conservative. I believe that systems work for a long time, that you don't have to break them. Are there improvements that need to be done? Yes. And I think we're guilty of sometimes of not acting. Could the Department of Education be more efficient? Absolutely. Are there things we can do there? To get rid of it makes no sense. And so my point on this, and again, I'm probably the last person to give advice because we didn't get it done, but I just felt like Donald Trump floods the zone with this. And I think, Chris, if you'd go ask the average American, what does the Department of Education do? They might not have a clear vision of it. So when Trump says it's a bunch of bureaucrats interfering with your local schools, give local control, we'll give you the money, it sounds pretty good. And we have not provided what that alternative looks like.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think it's fair. And look, I do agree, and I think there's a place for this, the disruptors, the folks that shake up systems in a way that are positive for people. But I keep saying this, what is the goal at the end of the day? What is the goal and where is it backed up? There's not a single economist backs tariffs. There's no one there. You know, Linda McMahon, I bet she's never been in a public school. What is she going to do to improve our students' outcomes and lives? And there's a vacuum for us to fill. We should get out there and fill it. Talk about what we're going to do.
Speaking of filling a vacuum, there was word reported last week, the head of the Republican Congressional Committee that sort of, you know, is talking to those frontline members, basically telling all members, House members, Republican members, don't have town halls. It's not worth it. You're just going to get yelled at. Don't do it. And a few Democrats, and I think you're one of them, have basically said, look, we'll do it. If you've got an area of this country that you want to talk to someone and your own Republican rep won't talk to you, I'll go do it. Is that still an open offer from you?
Yeah, I'm going. I'm going Friday, I think. I'm headed to Iowa. I'm going to go do it. I've been asked by these folks if it works. I'm going to go use the platform that I have and hand them the megaphone to talk about this. I wouldn't do those town halls if I were them either, because they have to defend cutting Medicare, cutting Medicaid, hurting their local public school, fighting a trade war with Canada, just the nonsense and defending President Musk. So I lived through these in 2010 when the Tea Party was there. And they're telling them that these are outside agitators. I heard a few Democrats in 2010 try and say, oh, don't worry about it. These are outside agitators. They were not. They were my neighbors.
Right.
And they were mad and confused about what was going to happen. Now, did the Republicans gin those up? Yeah, they threw fuel on that fire. I'm going to go out there and make sure that those folks down in Iowa know that their rep doesn't want to come talk to him, but he voted for this stuff. He voted to defund these things. He voted to make it impossible to talk to the VA and cut 70,000 people to care for our veterans. By the way, many of those 70,000 veterans themselves. So I think, again, this is us going out and talking to people, making the case that people are absolutely clear that both parties are not the same. One stands with Elon Musk, the billionaires, and the dismantling of America as we know it, and one that's going to be there for their families. And if we're not out there, Donald Trump, all the podcasts, all the money will fill that void. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going. And if they ask, I'll go. And look, I hope people show up at that town hall and say, look, Governor, what are you offering? Are you offering anything better? That's fair. But not to turn your back and not do it, it's dangerous. Dangerous.
I could not be more fired up to see Tim Walz on the road again, making a difference in 2026 ahead of the midterms, and dare I say it, potentially 2028. Is that something that you might, you can let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be excited to see. 2026, obviously. 2028 could be very nice. And we're going to keep talking about all the positives we possibly can on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.